It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Cincinnati Reds. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday night to you, wherever you may be. 7th meeting of the year between these two clubs, and yet it's Cincinnati's first visit to Los Angeles. The Dodgers and Reds split 6 in Ohio, so they'll be playing each other 9 times this year. For the Reds, they came in a hot ball club. They've won 6 in a row. They're leading their division 3.5 games ahead of the Cardinals, who, by the way, are playing the Giants tonight. Meanwhile, the Dodgers kind of limping along, 12 games back of San Diego. Got a bit of inspiration from Ted Lilly last night. The pitchers tonight, Homer Bailey with a record of 2-2. He'll go against Carlos Monasterios with a record of 3-3. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up right after this.
At the Cincinnati Reds in town for a weekend series versus the Dodgers. And let's get to our Lexus pursuing perfection. And why not spotlight a guy that has been pretty much perfect for the Dodgers in Ted Lilly?
How good has he been? He had 11 strikeouts again in last night's ball game. He does such a great job of keeping the ball out of the middle of the plate. You're not going to see a lot of good pitches to hit when he's facing you, although you will see strikes and you're going to have to swing your bat. 11 Ks. Boy, how nice would it have been to have him since like June? And, you know, his last 8 starts with the Cubs, he had only got 1 victory in those 8 starts. He's 4-0 for the Dodgers. It's just been tremendous.
That's a 2-hit shutout. He goes the distance, which helps out the bullpen for tonight's game and this weekend. So with Vicente Padilla, Steve, going on the disabled list, I mean, it's a lot of pressure on the Rule 5 kid, Carlos Monasterios. How do you think he responds?
I think he'll do fine. He's done great all year long. I don't think he's been afraid of the big stage at all. It's just a little bit unfortunate going into this part of the season and how tough it is for the Dodgers to get wins, to have to rely on a kid that pitched in Double-A last year with a guy going on to the DL. But he's done a great job. I think he'll settle down and pitch well.
Well, when Joe told him he was getting a start, he had a big smile on his face. Expect him to go 80 to 90 pitches. When we come back, first pitch, Vince Scully has the call.
Brought to you by the all-new 2011 Hyundai Sonata. Visit your Southern California Hyundai dealers today. By Shakey's. This player has the highest lifetime batting average of .367. Go to Shakey's.com/trivia. By CarMax. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. By AT&T. TV, high-speed internet, home phone, and wireless. Visit AT&T.com or call 1-800-PIC-ATT for details. And by 76 Gasoline. We're on the driver's side. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday night to you. TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday as the Dodgers take the field to open up a very important series, especially for the Cincinnati Reds, who are leading the Cardinals 3-1 in the Central Division. Talking about the Cardinals, the Giants are leading them 5-1, top of the seventh inning. For the Dodgers, trying to make a move somehow. They're stuck at 2 games above 500, 12 back, at least 7 back in the wild card race, trying to pull off a miracle. For the Cincinnati Reds, taking one step at a time, they're trying to beat the Dodgers here at Dodger Stadium. It's hard to believe, but the Dodgers have beaten the Reds 12 straight times at Dodger Stadium. That's the longest active streak of its kind in the major leagues. The Giants have beaten the Rangers 11, but the Dodgers 12 in a row. The last time the Reds won a game here was July 28, 2005. And it's so long ago, there are only 2 players on the rosters who are still here, Aaron Harang and Jeff Weaver on the DL. But for Dusty Baker, Johnny Lee, the pride of Riverside, he brings in a lineup that shapes up this way. Brandon Phillips at second base, Lance Nix in left field, and certainly a big candidate for the MVP award, Joey Votto. Scott Rowland at third, Jay Bruce in right, Ryan Hannigan behind the plate, Drew Stubbs in center, Paul Janisch at short, Homer Bailey on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Carlos Monasterios, who is subbing, of course, for the scheduled starter, Vicente Padilla. For Monasterios, with a record of 3-3, making his first start in 3 weeks, the last one against the Giants. And we'll see how he goes against the division-leading Cincinnati Reds, who arrive in here having won 6 straight. The Dodgers and the Reds played 6 games in Ohio, and they split the 6. But that's when the Dodgers had, among other people, Rafael Furcal, Russell Martin, and Manny Ramirez in the outfield. So it's a different Dodger club and a very consistent Cincinnati Reds team led by Brandon Phillips. Shows bunt, takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Brandon Phillips, a National League All-Star for the first time, leads the league in runs scored, and he's hitting .282, 14 home runs, 45 runs batted in. Strike one pitch way off the plate, 1-1. Beautiful evening, 76 degrees here in the ballpark. For Brandon Phillips, he really caused a rhubarb with the St. Louis Cardinals, you may or may not remember. The 1-1 pitch on the way to the right-hand hitter is swung on and fouled off. Before the Cardinal series recently, Brandon Phillips kept repeating, "I hate the Cardinals." I mean, I don't just like, I hate the Cardinals. He kept saying it over and over. Then, when the first game started, he walked up to home plate to lead off Yadier Molina, the catcher, and he tapped Molina on the shin guards a couple of times, as if to say hello. And Molina did not like that at all. He was saying goodbye. The 1-2 pitch on the way is hit down the right field line, slicing in the corner, and goes back into the stand, 1-2. Well, the next thing you know, the little rhubarb between Brandon Phillips and Yadier Molina grew into quite a rhubarb. A lot of pushing, a lot of shoving. Johnny Cueto apparently lashed out with his spikes, and he had to be suspended, so it was a mess. The 1-2 pitch on the way, Phillips swings and foul tips it, though Brandon is still there, 1-2. How did the Reds come out of that series after all the talk about "I hate the Cardinals"? You guessed it, the Cardinals swept the Reds in 3, but then the Reds turned right around and recovered nicely. You know, they've only lost 3 games on the road since the All-Star break. They've won 12 out of 15. So Dusty has really had them moving. 1-2 the count as Brandon Phillips waits with Lance Nix on deck. And the 1-2 pitch coming up, and that's probably banged into left center for a base hit. Kemp over to come up with it, and a big turn and a hole, and Phillips leads off the game with a line drive single. Let's take a look at the Dodgers defensively with the leather, Posednik, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield, and the infield of Blake and Carroll, Terrio and Loney, and the battery, Brad Osmus, the veteran handling the kid, Carlos Monasterio. Phillips over at first base has stolen 13, and now Lance Nix will check in. Nix hitting .289, 4 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Lance has been red hot in about the last 14 games. Big left-hand batter, and he takes high, ball 1, 1-0. So Brandon Phillips opens up the game with a base hit, and Nix and the Reds trying to get the jump on the Dodgers here in the first inning. Nix spelling that last name Nix. He is an even 6, a very solid 200 pounds. And the 1-0 pitch on the way, swung on, ground ball, foul outside of first, so no play. And they'll have to try it again. So Nix comes back. He's left-handed all the way. He's a Texan, born in Houston, lives in Midland, and was originally selected by the Rangers out of high school. And he came up to the Rangers 7 years ago. He was up and down in their organization and finally moved on to the Brewers in 06, and he came to the Reds last year. He was a quarterback in high school, but baseball was his choice. He set all kinds of records in baseball at the school. Throw to first, Phillips back on the bag. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count. So the Reds trying to get a start tonight with Brandon Phillips' leadoff single. 1-1 the count to the left-hand hitting Lance Nix. Out of a stretch is Monasterios. Carlos ready over the top with a pitch, and that's high, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. Monasterios, interestingly enough, despite his youth, has been at his best this year in high pressure situations. With runners in scoring position, he's held the opposition to a .207 batting average. So Monasterios looks in, getting a sign from Ausmus, and the 2-1 pitch on the way. Carlos tries to throw a big overhand change, and instead it's very high. Ball 3, 3-1. The Reds, after being upended in that 3-game sweep by the Cardinals, over the last 20 games, they've won 15 out of 17. So you talk about a ball club that can bounce back. 3-1 the count. We'll watch Phillips. He is not going. And Nick's ground ball base hit into right field. Phillips makes a turn and holds on. He just wanted to make sure Ethier would throw. So a bad beginning for Monasterios. Back-to-back singles, and now come the big boys. The Phillips singles to left center. Nix grounds a single to right. And Joey Votto coming up. Joey Votto is a team photo. He has always been a good player, and this year he has really come into his own. He's hitting .323, 28 home runs, 81 runs batted in, a leading candidate for the most valuable player award. Normally you automatically think of Pujols, but not anymore. So Joey had laser surgery, and boy, his eyesight really improved, and so did his baseball numbers. Big left-hand batter. He's 6'3", 220. Monasterios checks the runners, double checks, and comes to the plate. Joey looks at a pitch that's in for a strike, a breaking ball, in the count 0-1. Last year, how consistent was Votto? His overall batting average was .347. He hit .344 against right-handers, .351 at home, .345 on the road, .341 against right-hand pitching, .344 with runners in scoring position. The strike one pitch on the way to Joey, and he takes that for a high strike, and the count 0-2. And for good measure, he had .358 against left-handers. He was without a doubt the most consistent hitter in the league last year. Wound up hitting a very solid .322, and he's 1 point higher this year. Joey out of Toronto, Canada. Left-hand batter waiting. Here comes Monasterios, and he drops it low. Pushed out in front of the plate by Ausmus, and a 1-ball 2-strike count. You talk to Joey Votto about growing up in Canada and the fact that everybody up there loves hockey. He said, I just didn't want to play hockey. I wanted to play only baseball. Well, I don't know how far he'd have gone in the NHL, but he's a big man in the majors. Joey Votto, V-O-T-T-O. 2 on, nobody out. First inning, no score. Monasterios ready. Carlos deals very high. That evens up the count 2-2. Votto certainly proved to be a very human ball player. He actually went on the DL last year. Stress and depression. Joey waiting. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. Now Brad Ausmus going out to try and counsel Monasterios. So Carlos in trouble on back-to-back singles, facing a big hitter in the league in Joey Votto. Votto has always been considered a coach's dream, or if you're Joe Torre, a coach's nightmare. And Joey is up there now to give anybody a bad dream. He played for Canada in the World Cup games. He was the International League Rookie of the Year just 3 years ago. 2-2 pitch to Joey Votto is swung on and missed, and down he goes. So an off-speed pitch by Carlos Monasterios nails Votto, and Carlos trying to live up to his reputation of being so very, very effective with a runner in scoring position. So Votto comes up empty, 1 down, and now another veteran, and that would be Scott Rowland. So Votto goes back to the dugout, having had a slice of humble pie, and we'll see now about Rowland. Scott Rowland out of Jasper, Indiana. He was Mr. Indiana in baseball. And of course, Indiana basketball crazy. Big right-hand batter as Monasterios fakes. Rowland is 6'4", 240. Originally signed by the Phillies back in 1993. Came up to the Phillies in 96 and pretty much stayed with them until the middle of 2002 when he went to the St. Louis Cardinals. Then he went to the Blue Jays last year with the Reds. Monasterios set, ready, comes to the right-hand hitter and gets a strike, and the count 0-1. Jasper, Indiana is a town, they tell me, of about 10,000 people, 60 miles northeast of Evansville, 75 southwest of Bloomington. His parents were school teachers. They're retired, and for years they would follow Scott around in an RV and watch baseball and watch their son all summer long. 0-1 the count. Monasterios set, very deliberate, back he comes, fastball swung on and missed. Good location up and in with a 90-mile-an-hour pitch, and the count 0-2. Scott Rowland, such a fine athlete, not just in baseball but in basketball. He was good enough to get Bobby Knight of the University of Indiana talking to him about coming to the school. The strike 2 pitch to Scott Rowland is swung on and missed, and down he goes. So after consecutive singles by Phillips and then the backup single by Nix, he turns right around to strike out Votto, strikes out Rowland, and now Jay Bruce, a left-hand batter, checking in. Another Texan. Jay is from Beaumont, Texas. Drafted by the Reds, first-round pick 5 years ago. He's hitting .266, 13 home runs, 49 runs batted in. Monasterios comes to him with a big overhand breaking ball, but he misses. 1 ball and no strikes. For Jay Bruce, kind of a blue-collar player, blue-collar home. His dad was a master plumber. His mom taught elementary school. He has 2 on, 2 out, no score first inning. Monasterios comes right back, and it's swung on and fouled away. And a 1 ball, 1 strike count to Jay Bruce. Jay wanted to play in a lot of tournaments. Family short on money. So he went out, asked for donations, got a chance to play, and just improved all the way, and then hit the jackpot. The 1-1 pitch on the way is taken for a strike. When Jay Bruce signed as a first-round pick, a $1.8 million first pick bonus. So Monasterios, the single to Phillips in left center, the single to right by Nix. Then he strikes out Votto. Then he strikes out Rowland. Now he has 2 strikes on Jay Bruce. Carlos bends at the waist. Brad Ausmus wig-wagging a sign out to him. And the young right-hander ready. The 1-2 pitch coming up is in the dirt, blocked nicely by Ausmus, and the count 2-2. Monasterios is only 24. He was originally drafted by the Yankees. Give you one interesting thing about him, and it's somewhat applicable tonight. In June against the Cardinals, he worked more than 6 innings, gave up only 4 hits, did not have a strikeout, and there was only 1 swing and a miss by the opposition in the 6 innings. Right now he has 2 strikeouts in the first inning. Deuce is wild, and the 2-2 pitch is taken just inside. He tried to hit that inside corner with a fastball and just missed. So a slight base running advantage for the Reds now. With a full count and 2 down, Phillips and Nix will be off to the races. The Reds, among other things, run the bases well. They also gamble. Phillips at second, Nix at first. They're ready to go. There they go. And the pitch is swung on and missed. Big, slow change. Monasterios puts hands high up in the air to St. Hugh as he strikes out the side. And at the end of half an inning, Reds nothing, Dodgers coming up. We go to the bottom of the first. Dodger lineup goes this way. Posednik, Terrio, and Ethier. Loney, Kemp, and Blake. Carroll, Ausmus, and Monasterios. So James Loney in the middle of the pack has done a lot of good work against the Reds, and he'll have to do it tonight against Homer Bailey, although Homer is not really his name. It's a nickname. His true name is David Bailey Jr., but because he and his dad have the exact same name, so they started calling him Homer, and it stuck. Bailey is 6'4", 205-pounder, just recently coming off the disabled list. Flips a fastball in there for a strike, and the count 0-1. Bailey, a first-round pick by the Reds out of LaGrange High School. LaGrange is between Austin and Houston. Strike one pitch, bounced in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike to Scott Posednik, who is hitting .302 with 5 runs batted in. Whoever the Dodger leadoff man has been this year, and they've used 8 of them, they averaged out a .303 batting average. 1-1 the count to Posednik. Bailey into the windup, back with a pitch just low and inside. Ball 2, 2-1. Bailey is a hometown Texas boy, wears boots and a cowboy hat. Very much of a big hunter. His 2-1 pitch on the way, and Bailey's fastball lifted to left field, coming over for Lance Nix to make the catch, and just like that, we have 1 out in the first inning, and Ryan Terrio will be coming up. For Homer Bailey, being a cowboy, he grew up on his family's 70,000 chicken, 40-acre egg farm, and cultivating a love for hunting in the woods around the area. And as he said, when I'm not playing baseball, I'm in the woods. Well, here's Ryan Terrio hitting .286. He takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Terrio, 1 home run, 24 runs batted in, and a lot of multi-hit games this year. Right-hand hitting second baseman, and the strike one pitch on the way. Terrio looks, and it's off the plate. 1-1 the count to Ryan. No score, bottom of the first inning. Monasterios gave a back-to-back singles and then electrified the crowd by then striking out Votto, Rowland, and Bruce. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Bailey delivers, fastball for a strike, and the count 1-2. He appears to be throwing effortlessly as he puts 93 on the gun. Big fella, nice, smooth, easy delivery, and that ball just jumps out of his hand. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Ryan, and Terrio fouls it away. So it's still 1-2. They were asking Homer Bailey, if you're a hunter, what about the biggest game you ever had? And he said, hunting wild boars. He fought and got a 400-pounder. Now the 1-2 pitch on the way to Ryan Terrio, and the right-handed fastball is low, and the count 2-2, and he hit an easy 95 on that pitch. The Reds have not been fortunate at all in their first round selection of pitchers, and they're hoping that Bailey will be the boy to break it. 2-2 pitch, Terrio fouls it away. The last starting pitcher who proved the organization right for drafting him in the first round was a left-hander who threw BBs 40 years ago by the name of Don Gullett, who became more famous, I think, as a pitching coach than he was as a pitcher with the Reds. But I mean, he could fire. So Bailey is hoping that he will be able to be a little luckier than all of the other first-round pitchers that the Reds have drafted. 2-2 pitch on the way, and Terrio fouls it away. Looking at Bailey as he stands out on the mound wearing number 34, when he made his major league debut, he didn't ask for it, but the Cincinnati equipment manager had some thoughts about Nolan Ryan and number 34 and Texas, so he's wearing it. Ground ball to short, waiting for it to come to him. He makes the throw in time, and we have 2 down in the first inning. So you can imagine you're a young Texas pitcher, and they give you 34 for your big league debut. The number worn so long and so well by Nolan Ryan. As far as his pitching is concerned, he has a hard 12-6 curveball, good fastball, a change. Mario Soto worked with him on the changeup. He has a cutter, and last year they were teaching him a split finger. Right-handed delivers, and it's low. 1 ball and no strikes to Andre Ethier. Ethier rested last night, didn't get a chance to play. They really didn't need him behind the shutout performance of Ted Lilly. Andre batting .300, 18 home runs, 68 runs batted in. 2 out, first inning, no score. Homer Bailey back to the plate, and it's probably whacked into right field, but saving him over there and making the catch is Jay Bruce. So Ethier hits it right on the button, but right at the right fielder. Dodgers are gone in order, and at the end of an inning, no score. Ball game, the Dodgers and the Reds. Ryan Hanigan will start it off. Right-hand hitting catcher, batting .284. 3 home runs, 29 runs batted in on a magnificent evening here in Southern California. Hanigan, very good man with the bat as he takes a look at a pitch for a strike. Among hitters with at least 100 base runners, he has the highest rate of driving them in. He's had 106 base runners, and he's knocked in 29 of them. 0-1. Now the strike one pitch on the way. Hanigan takes low, 1-1. Hanigan, born in the nation's capital, then went to Andover, Massachusetts, signed by the Reds 8 years ago as a free agent. Finally came up briefly in 07. But he's been a catcher since Little League, and then high school where he was undrafted. The 1-1 pitch off the plate, ball 2. Ryan is 6 foot, 200-pounder, 30 years old. Hanigan back up. Couple of scores to duck in with some details. The Giants are leading the Cardinals 6-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. The 2-1 pitch to Hanigan. Monasteros delivers, swung on and fouled away, 2-2. Madison Bumgarner, the pitcher for the Giants, knocked in the first run. Buster Posey, who's hitting .343, doubled in another. Pablo Sandoval hit his 10th home run. And then later, Aubrey Huff hit a 2-run home run. So it is 6-1 Giants, bottom of the 8th inning. 2-2 the count to Ryan Hanigan. Monasteros is a breaking ball banged into right field for a base hit. So that's hit number 3 given up by Monasteros, but no runs for the moment. And the batter will be Drew Stubbs. The Padres and the Brewers, they're in the 6th inning. Padres jumped out to a 5-2 lead. Home runs by Chase Headley and Adrian Gonzalez. The Brewers came back. Home runs by Casey McGee and Jonathan Lecrae, and they now lead 8-6. The starters are both gone, and neither lasted more than 3 1/3 innings. So here is Drew Stubbs checking in with a runner at first, nobody out. 2nd inning, no score. Monasterio set, ready. Carlos delivers, and it is swung on and missed. Couple of notes about Stubbs besides the fact that he's hitting .239, 15 home runs, 57 runs batted in. He has 10 infield hits, so you know he motors very well. He's 3rd in the league in striking out as far as the number of plate appearances. So a young hitter. 0-1 the count to Drew. He swings and pulls it foul, and the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Stubbs with 57 runs batted in. He's been up there 10 times this year with the bases loaded. He's also been somewhat of an adventuresome base runner. Drew Stubbs has been picked off base 6 times this year. 0-2 the count to Drew. Monasteros looks over at first. Back he comes, down and away. Nice save by Ausmus to backhand it. 1-2 to Drew Stubbs. Carlos Monasteros making a lot of pitches. Yes, he survived the first inning, looked good, struck out the side, but he made 25 pitches. And now he's given up a single, and he's 1-2 the count to Stubbs. Monasterio set at the belt. Looks over at first, works his hitter, and it's unintentionally fouled away on a check swing. So the count remains 1-2. Hanigan, the catcher, held on by Loney. Hanigan has not been involved in a stolen base of any kind. Another problem for Dusty Baker with Drew Stubbs. He swings and misses quite often, so it's hard to put a play on with him. 1-2 the count to Drew. Here comes Monasteros, and it's low and away. 2-2 with a changeup. Stubbs up there at the plate is yet another Texan. He's out of Texarkana, Texas, went to the University of Texas, and was a first-round pick. 6'4", 200, 25 years old. This is a very young ball club. which is good news for the Reds management to be atop the heap. Now the 2-2 pitch from Monasterio, swung on and foul back. For Drew Stubbs, we mentioned he runs well and he's got good genes. His dad, Rick, went to school at Louisiana Tech University and ran track for the school for 4 years. And of course, for Drew, he quarterbacked his high school football team. He was a member of 2 state champion relay teams and also played basketball. So if he hits the ball down on the ground, he can be trouble. The 2-2 pitch on the way, and he looks, and it's ball 3. One other note about Drew Stubbs: he graduated salutatorian of his class, named the top English, math, and Spanish student in the school. So he's quite a package. Drew Stubbs. 3-2. We'll see now whether they risk running Hannigan or not. You have the shortstop Paul Janisch on deck. Hannigan takes a short lead. He's not gone, and the pitch is swung on and missed, and that's been the flaw, the fact that he swings and misses a great deal. So it also means 4 strikeouts for Carlos Monasterios. So 1 away, and the batter now is Paul Janisch, Janish. Janisch, right-hand hitter, batting .292. Paul has 4 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Janisch paid the price of having to throw that baseball a lot. He had Tommy John surgery 5 years ago. And the pitch to Paul in there for a strike. He is yet another Texan. How this team ever got together and not represent Texas, I'll never know. He is from Cypress, Texas, went to school at Rice University, and he's one of those fellas who very often will walk as much as he strikes out. The strike 1 pitch on the way to the shortstop is off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Growing up in Texas, even though he wanted to be an infielder, he idolized Nolan Ryan. That Janisch name, maybe Scott Posednik can explain why the J sounds like a Y. It's a Czechoslovakian name. The 1-1 pitch fouled away, 1-2. The name is spelled Janish, but it comes out Janisch. Posednik has that extra D in his name. 1-2 the count. When Janisch pitched as well as played shortstop, I think that's when he might have hurt his arm. They say he could throw at 94 as a pitcher. Monasterios delivers high, and a 2-ball 2-strike count. So he's letting those pitches really start to pile up. He's now made 42 pitches, and he's only in the 2nd inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Janisch waiting, and the 2-2 pitch to the Red shortstop is swung on and popped up right side. Terrio goes out on the grass and makes the catch for the 2nd out. So 2 down, and Homer Bailey will be coming up. Several things about the Reds as a team. For instance, they don't hang around very long. They are 16th in 2-0 counts, 14th in 3-1 counts, 15th in 3-0 counts. They are the lowest team, let's say the 16th team, in average pitches per plate. A little more than 3.5 pitches. So they go up there ready to swing. So here is Bailey hitting 200. Right-hand batter fouls it away, and the count 0-1 the count. There are a lot of other things about the Reds offensively to keep in mind. They are first in the league in the rate of at-bats to an RBI. 3rd in the rate of home runs to plate appearances. They have 137 home runs. Strike 1 pitch on the way, and that's taken for a strike. 0-2. When the Reds normally get runners on base, they are first in the league in getting runners to score. Tonight so far they've had 3 runners and they've come up empty. Strike 2 pitch way off the plate. 1-2 the count. So no score, second inning, despite the fact the Reds had leadoff singles by Phillips and Nix in the first inning. Monasterios turned right around, struck out Votto, Rowland, and Bruce. Then a leadoff single by Hannigan, though he struck out Stubbs and got Yanish to pop up. Now 1-2 against his opposite number, Homer Bailey. Monasterios ready. Carlos delivers. Fastball hit up the middle for a base hit. So Bailey extends the inning with a single. It would be his 4th hit. So Bailey swings the bat, singles, and Monasterios has to make more pitches with 2 on, 2 out, and Brandon Phillips coming up. Phillips began the night with a base hit to left center field. They left him at second base. You look at Brandon Phillips' background. He is the 3rd lowest rate in the National League of called third strikes. I mean, he's up there swinging all the time. He doesn't hang around. He never, or not often, gets deep in the count. So Phillips hitting .283, 14 home runs, 45 runs batted in. Right-hand hitter, bends at the knees and waist. 2 out, second inning, no score. Monasterios doing a little bit of a high wire act and gets the first pitch in there, a changeup for a strike, and the count 0-1. Brandon Phillips waiting, no balls, 1 strike. 2 on, 2 out, second inning, no score. Now the strike 1 pitch on the way, and that backs him off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Phillips has struck out only 62 times, and he has had well over 500 plate appearances, so he's very tough. The Reds are also a very aggressive young team in going after the first pitch. 1-1 the count to Brandon Phillips. Monasterios, another look at the runners, and the 1-1 pitch on the way. Check swing, and that'll be a strike. And the count 1-2. Well, for young Carlos Monasterios, he has now made 50 pitches, and he's not out of the second inning. You just can't hang around very long doing that. Carlos trying to throw strikes, trying to get some outs with a minimum number of pitches. His high in pitches this year, 86. Which is a perfect cutoff number. 1-2 the count to Brandon Phillips. Right-hander ready, very deliberate, and with 2 out, the 1-2 pitch is a hard ground ball by the diving Carroll into left field. Coming to the plate is the catcher Hannigan, and he'll score standing up, and the Reds take a 1-0 lead. So Brandon Phillips singles to left by the diving Carroll. His second hit and a run batted in. Bailey stops at second. Hannigan brings the run home, and the Reds break through and take a 1-0 lead. So 1 run, 5 hits, and we're only in the second inning. And Rick Honeycutt going out to see if he can perhaps help his young pitcher. Meanwhile, the always active and animated Brandon Phillips is thrilled over his good luck of driving in a run. For Phillips, as he stands at first base, he picks up his 46th run batted in. So Brandon always talking to somebody, always very active. His first base coach, a former good player in his own right, Billy Hatcher, and over at third, somewhat of a local boy born in Oxnard, and that would be the third base coach, Mark Berry. So the Reds with a 6-game winning streak, but trying to snap a 12-game losing streak at Dodger Stadium. They haven't won a game here since 2005. And here is Lance Nix, and he goes first ball swinging. That's a Reds trademark, and he flies out to Matt Kemp. So the Reds revert to character, but they do come up with 3 hits for a run, and at the end of an inning and a half, Reds 1, Dodgers nothing. K-Swiss tubes. And by Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo, served with curly fries and a drink for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. The Reds take a 1-0 lead, bottom of the second inning. James Loney will start it off, and the first pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. For Loney, batting .283, 8 home runs, 72 runs batted in. He is 2-for-7 against Bailey. Homer ready in the strike one pitch, and that's off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. I'm not sure if we can see it or not. There are some pitchers who hook the ball behind their back, and people think that will cause you to have an arm problem. 1-1 pitch on the way is a ground ball to the right side. Up with it there is Brandon Phillips, and that'll be the out. 1 away for James Loney, and it'll bring up Matt Kemp. Anyway, Bailey does a little bit of a hook. You watch the ball if you're on television, and he kind of hooks it behind his body. It looks straight for the moment, but then he has to really hook it around and get back to the plate. So I think because of that habit, it could very well have caused the inflammation of the right shoulder that put him on the DL in May. I'll tell you who used to hook the ball. He was Rookie of the Year for the Dodgers one year, Rick Sutcliffe, and Don Sutton would hook the ball behind his back. 0-1 the count to Matt Kemp. So Homer Bailey, who means a great deal to the Reds, especially now that he's back and healthy, just starting out in his career. The strike one pitch on the way. Fastball whacked into center, but at the other end of it is center fielder Drew Stubbs. And just like that, Kemp is out. However, Matt is starting to hit the ball hard. Last night, he lined into a double play, and he hit 2 other balls hard on the ground. Now he lines to center. He's been doing a lot of extra work in pregame batting practice. I mean pregame, long before the others, with Don Mattingly and Jeff Pentland trying to help him out. So it's starting to show results. Nothing electrifying, but he is hitting the ball hard. With 2 down, here's Casey Blake taking a strike, and the count 0-1 to Case. Hitting .247, 12 home runs, 48 runs batted in. 1-0 Cincinnati in the second inning, and Blake lays off a pitch high. 1 ball and 1 strike. There was an old comedian 100 years ago named Jack Pearl who would always say on his show, "Was you ever to Cincinnati?" It was his real trademark. 1-1 pitch, and Blake swings and misses 1-2. On deck, Jamie Carroll. In the second inning, Lance Nix came up with 2 on, a run in, swung at the first pitch and flied to center. And I was saying it's a kind of a Cincinnati trademark. They're in a very aggressive young hitting ball club. You know what happened with Casey Kochman? Remember, he used to play with the Angels? Here's the 1-2 pitch to Casey Blake, and it's low, 2-2. Casey Kochman played the entire game, had 4 at-bats, saw 4 pitches. 4 pitches, 4 at-bats, got 1 hit, went 1 for 4. But that is about as rare as you'll ever find in a big league game. The pitch is low, ball 3, 3-2. 2 down, second inning, 1-0 Reds. Boy, thinking back a long time ago, the big red machine. Wow. Johnny Bench, Pete Rose and company. Off speed in there. Strike 3 call. Great curveball. And Casey was just locked and couldn't move. So down go the Dodgers. 6 in a row retired. And it's 1-0 Reds. Haley has now gotten a base hit. He's retired 6 in a row, wearing a heavy hooded windbreaker to stay warm. And the first pitch off the plate to Joey Votto. Votto struck out in the first inning. He doesn't do that very often, especially with men on base. He has 28 home runs. He leads the league in average, on base percentage, used towels, you can name it, and he's done it. Joey, the most consistent player around last year for sure. Now the 1-1 pitch hit in the air to left field. Going back a little bit is possession, but he makes the catch for the out. And we have 1 away. Say a reminder, bring your kids to Dodger Stadium, and with the purchase of every adult ticket on the field or loge level, kids 14 and under, just $5. For details, visit Dodgers.com/specials. So Votto a fly ball to left, 1 away, and here's Scott Rowland. Rowland hitting .297, 18 home runs, 68 runs batted in, holds up, takes a strike, another changeup. I would say that Monasterios in 2 1/3 innings has certainly thrown more changeups than the average pitcher. The strike 1 pitch on the way is a fastball hit up the middle. But right there is Terrio to pick it up and take care of Rowland. And we have 2 down in the 3rd inning. And of course, that's what Monasterios needed. He got help from Lance Nix in the 2nd inning when Nix went after the first pitch. Then Votto in the 3rd inning didn't hang around. And now Rolen isn't up there very long. And as we said, that's the way the Cincinnati Reds hit. They're up there to hack. And it's paid off for them. First pitch now to Bruce. There you go again. Swung on, fouled off. 0-1. Of the 25 players on this team, we were alluding to the fact that so many of them are from Texas in the starting lineup. 7 of them are from the state of Texas. 0-1 the count to Jay Bruce. Left-hand hitter. Looks at a pitch for a strike. Little slider. 0-2 the count. 1-0 Cincinnati in the 3rd. Here's the strike 2 pitch on the way. Carlos delivers. Check swing, but he is committed. Down he goes. So Bruce strikes out. And a 1-2-3 inning. A badly needed 1-2-3 inning for Monasterios. And the Reds lead 1-0. Carrying a light windbreaker, so it's not obvious, but the Reds have lost 12 straight here. And for all his years playing in the major leagues and with the Dodgers, Dusty always wore number 12. He's wearing number 12 underneath that jacket right now. And he said, that's my lucky number. So they're hoping to stop the Dodger victory streak here at 12. Meanwhile, Jamie Carroll takes a strike, 0-1. Jamie hitting .286, 19 runs batted in. Fastball in the dirt. Nice save by Hannigan. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Jamie Carroll. Carroll certainly has to have the league talking over his incredible contributions to the ball club. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way, and Jamie backs off. Ball 2, 2-1. I mean, here's a fella who has played 40 games at second, 53 games at short, 10 at third, and 5 even in the outfield. And all over the place, he made only 4 errors. He takes a pitch up for ball 3. 3-1 to count. On Diamond Vision, they're imagining players how they might have looked in the 90s. They have a picture of Carroll with long hair down to his shoulders. Here's the 3-1 pitch on the way, and Jamie takes high. He's aboard. But with the walk, that breaks the string of 6 consecutive outs. You know, the Coca-Cola Value Pack is still available for Sunday's game. 4 tickets, 4 Dodger dogs, 4 Cokes, and a Dodger bobblehead times 4. That's right, 4 of them. Starting at $17 a seat. So for tickets, visit Dodgers.com/specials or call 866-DODGERS. Brad Ausmus, 1,931 games under his belt as a big league catcher, hitting .175. Homer Bailey's pitch has check swing foul into the Reds dugout, and the count 0-1 to Brad. Ausmus has announced he will retire at the end of the year. Ever since his, I would say, second or third year in the league, people always tab Brad Ausmus as becoming one day a major league manager. And one of the things he is asked to do tonight is manage young Carlos Monasterios. Strike one pitch is low. Brad was saying last night in catching Ted Lilly's masterpiece, a 2-hit shutout, that was the easiest game he said I ever caught on any level, and especially the major league level. And after 1,930 previous games, that's quite a statement. 1-1 the count. Bailey ready, delivers, and that's banged into center. That's going to be a base hit. Up with it is Stubbs to get it back in. So the Dodgers now first and second, nobody out, trailing 1-0, and certainly an apparent bunt situation for Monasterio. So Ausmus, a line drive single to center, and here comes Monasterios. Not that he's had very many chances to bunt, but he does have 2 sacrifices. Monasterios being called away from home plate by Larry Boa to make sure he understands the situation. And then you see Larry nod his head. Okay, good. I'm assured you do know. So Monasterios coming up. Not only in many cases does Monasterios look for the sign about is he going to bunt. Also, if there's a possibility of any other play, he has to flash a sign back to the third base coach. I've got it. He's showing bunt and takes down and away. Ball 1. 1-0. Boa again going through the message. Monasterios, a quick look at him, now right back up to the plate. 2 on, nobody out. 1-0 Reds. Bottom of the third. Cincinnati looking bunt, of course. Monasterios bunts foul in his own batter's box, and the count 1-1 strike. Now they have Monasterios up there with a head full of hair on 90s night. A couple of things they've done in saluting the memory of the 90s, pointing out Fernando Valenzuela's no-hitter and Hideo Nomo's no-hitter in Denver in the rain. 1-1 strike to Monasterios, showing bunt again. Bailey ready and delivers on the inside corner for a strike. He threw him a curveball, and Monasterios kind of bailed on it. So now with 2 strikes, we'll see if the bunt is on or not. 1-0 Reds, and the Dodgers have 2 on and nobody out. Carroll at second, Ausmus at first, and the 25-year-old at the plate. Homer Bailey ready. Monasterios shows bunt, tries to bunt, gets it down. It's picked up and again thrown to first to Phillips, and the sacrifice works. So the Dodgers have second and third with 1 out. Nice job, Monasterios with 2 strikes, able to advance the runner. So Scott Podsednik, who flied to left field in the first inning, will be coming up with first base open. Monasterios, in the words of Joe Torre, has a lot of fans in the Dodger dressing room, meaning his teammates. They really like the kid. And he gets the bunt down. So second and third, 1 out. 1-0 Reds. And Podsednik trying to at least get Carroll home. The infield is back. Bailey ready. Homer delivers. And the first pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. For Bailey and Scott Podsednik, they have never faced each other. Rafael Furcal is 5 for 10 against Bailey. That's almost a depressing note to think about Rafael and the fact he can't play. Strike 1 pitch on the way, swung on and fouled back, And the count 0-2 to Scott Podsednik, an all-star in the American League a few years ago. Podsednik hitting .299. As a Dodger, he has struck out 16 times. And they're looking for him to make contact here. And with his running speed, he'll put some pressure on the infield. 0-2 the count. Bailey ready. Here he comes. Line drive at shortstop, Janisch. And the runners have to hold. So Podsednik makes contact. It's a line drive at the red shortstop. And the runner's still there with 2 out. And Ryan Theriot coming up. Theriot grounded to short in the first inning. Dodgers last night labored with men in scoring position. In fact, if you look back to last night's game in the 6th inning, they had second and third and nobody out and failed to score. But Torrey's club won because of Reed Johnson's home run in the 2nd inning. Tonight, Reed on the rail observing. So here now is Theriot, and he swings, fouls it away off first, upstairs, second deck. No balls and 1 strike to count to Ryan Theriot, hitting .285, 1 home run, 24 runs batted in. He is right up there with 115 singles, but he does have 1 home run. Theriot waiting. Lanky right-hander Homer Bailey comes right back. A bunt up along third. Good bunt. And heading to first and beating the throw is Theriot. Scoring was Carroll. And the Dodgers have tied it up. Ryan Theriot dropped a perfect bunt. Carroll had hesitated. You don't really squeeze with 2 out, but Jamie got a pretty good jump when he realized that the bunt was fair. And then and only then did Carroll come. Hannigan, the catcher, I think, was hoping for Bailey to throw the ball to him. Had they thrown the ball to Hannigan, Carroll would have been out. However, the pitcher instead went to first. And the Dodgers get the tying run. A bunt single, a run batted in. Ausmus is now at third in a 1-1 tie. So here's Andre Ethier. First and third, 2 out, 1-1 in the third. And the first pitch, slow breaking ball in for a strike. 0-1 to Andre. Hit the ball hard and deep in the first inning to right field, but Jay Bruce was right there to glove it. 1-1 tie. Some are going up, some are going down since the All-Star break, and Ethier has been taking a tumble. Andre takes a strike from 324 down to 239 since the break. And of course, part of that break was that injury to his right little finger on the right hand, the bottom hand as a left-hand batter. 0-2 the count. Bailey in a 1-1 tie, and the strike 2 pitch is high. Ball 1, 1-2. Ausmus at the ready over there at third base, and Bailey does have 3 wild pitches. So Theriot at first with a bunt single to drive in a run, and a 1-1 tie in the third. Bailey hands together at the belt. The 1-2 pitch on the way, checked, and it's high. Ethier started offer and just did hold out. So Homer Bailey, who had made 25 pitches in the first 2 innings, is now facing his 6th batter here in the third. Homer looks to Ryan Hannigan, his catcher. Now he's ready. Deuce is wild here in the third in a 1-1 tie, and Ethier swings and misses. Down he goes. But the Dodgers get the surprise, the bunt single by Theriot, and at the end of 3, a 1-1 tie. so far. They had singles from Brandon Phillips and Lance Nix. And with nobody out, Votto, Rolen, and Bruce due up. And all Monasterio did was strike out Votto, strike out Rolen, and strike out Bruce. He has 5 strikeouts, had his easiest inning in the 3rd inning when he made only 8 pitches. So he's made 60 pitches in 3 innings, but he does have 5 strikeouts, which is a career high, and he's ready to set sail in the 4th inning. Ryan Hannigan will lead it off. Then it'll be Drew Stubbs and Paul Janisch. The young fella from Miranda, Venezuela, Carlos Monasterio. Hannigan single to right field, came around to score a run. Broken thumb put him on the DL. 1-1 to count. Hannigan celebrated his 30th birthday Monday. Right. Hannigan's like so many, sailing along, hitting .351, then hitting under 200 since he came back. 2-2 the count. One run, 5 hits for the Reds. 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. The surprise bunt by Ryan Theriot to get home the tying run. And again, Hannigan appeared from up here. He wanted the ball from Bailey. They would have gotten Carroll then, but Bailey threw to first and too late. Two and 2 to the catcher. Ground ball through into left field. So now he's starting to come back to that pre-injury form. As the boy from Rollins College singles to left, he's 2 for 2. And Drew Stubbs coming up. Stubbs struck out in the 2nd inning. Reds 1, Dodgers 1. Reds have 6 hits. Dodgers 2 hits. The bunt down to get it. Monasterios. Bad throw. So Monasterios throws it away. Loney alertly leaving the bag and able to catch it. Otherwise it goes down the right field line. Looked like a routine play, and it just bad throw. So a single followed by the error. And the Reds are in business. Loney makes a good save. Two on, nobody out in this 1-1 tie. And now Paul Janisch hitting .289. Ball 1. Janisch had the Tommy John surgery after a collision at first base. He didn't hurt the arm throwing. Little ground ball. Charging is Casey Blake to get him, and the runners move up. So a slow hit ball. Instead of 2 out and a runner at third, you have 1 out and runners at second and third, and Homer Bailey coming up. Bailey singled up the middle in the 2nd inning. So Homer batting .250. 1 out. Dodger infield is back. Just in case Dusty Baker is thinking about a squeeze, we can tell you Bailey has 2 sacrifices. He also has 4 hits. And he's checking with third base coach Mark Berry. One ball and no strikes. Foul back, 1-1. Now the Reds, so far for Dusty this year, get men on base and they score them. Among other things, what Dusty does, he has had his club steal third base 12 times this year. Of course, they've also been caught 5 times, but he rolls the dice. 1-1. 1-2. The Reds are 4th in the league in bunt hits, 3rd in the league in infield hits. Another interesting thing, they don't hit into double plays. Dusty, as usual, still working with that toothpick in his mouth. Scare you to death to walk in with that thing. Little bouncer to Casey Blake. The runners hold. Be out at first. However, the inning is still alive. It should be over, but it's not. And that means Brandon Phillips has one more shot as Bailey grounds out. Phillips is 2 for 2 as he comes up. Single to center, single to left. Brandon hitting .285, 14 home runs, 46 runs batted in. Having a very solid year, and he's had quite a few of those. Fastball for ball 1. 3 years ago, Cincinnati fell in love with Brandon Phillips as he faces Monasterios, because he became the first Reds 30 home run, 30 stolen base guy since the Reds immortal Barry Larkin. You get your name linked with Larkin in Cincinnati, you are a big man. And a shot up the middle. In comes one, here comes another, and just like that, because of the error, the Reds are given the opportunity, and they have scored 2. And they take a 3-1 lead. So you make a mistake against a good ball club, and one reason the club is good is they take advantage of your mistakes. So Phillips is 3 for 3. He has 3 runs batted in as he got a fastball and just hit it up the middle, scoring both Hannigan and Stubbs. So for Monasterios, of course, he's still worrying about his throwing error that gave the Reds the opportunity in the first place. So now here's Lance Nix. Lance Nix with a single to right and a fly to center, hitting .291. Phillips with 13 stolen bases. There he goes, and the pitch is fouled away. So the Reds do it all. They're very aggressive, as we have mentioned now a couple of times. They are a team that really goes after the first pitch. 0-1 to Lance Nix. And a little ground ball speared by Loney. He'll take it to the bag, and that's that. But the error by Monasterios gave the Reds the opportunity. They cashed it in with the bat of Brandon Phillips, and they lead 3-1. where you'll find the new Transit Connect. Check it out at sc4dealers.com. By Corona and by Toyota. Get a great deal on Toyota's full line of hybrid and fuel-efficient vehicles at your Toyota dealer today. 3-1 Reds, bottom of the fourth inning, and it'll be Loney, Kemp, and Blake. The bat of Brandon Phillips has spoken loud and clear. He is 3 for 3 with 3 runs batted in. Meanwhile, Loney a strike, 0-1 the count. We can tell you the Giants held on and beat the Cardinals 6-3. So the Reds have a chance to pick up a game on the fallen St. Louis Birds. Fouled away. Pablo Sandoval hit his 10th home run in that game. Buster Posey hitting in the 340s. Albert Pujols hit a home run in the 8th inning. It was home run number 398 in his career. Brian Wilson got Matt Holliday to ground out for the last out. And meanwhile, strike 3 to Loney. 1 away. That would be the 3rd strikeout for right-hander Homer Bailey.
Center fielder.
Little breaking ball that dipped in. And Matt Kemp coming up. One thing about the Reds, without getting statistical, but they are a much better team in winning when they get 3 runs over the league's average. You know, a lot of clubs score 3 and lose, but when the Reds get 3, they're very tough. That's a strike. The Reds' young pitching, and it is a young pitching staff. 0-1. Matt batting .254. Foul back. Hit the ball hard, but right at Bruce Stubbs in center field in the 2nd inning. The Red starters are doing very well. That's one reason why they're in first place. The starters' winning percentage is over .600. And the Reds pitchers 25 and younger have faced about 90% more hitters than the average 25-year-old in the league. Ground ball to third, long throw in the dirt. Nice pick at the other end of it by Joey Votto. So we have 2 down in the 4th inning. Time now to get you thinking a little bit. Our trivia question. Reds Hall of Fame Johnny Bench is one of 4 catchers ever named National League MVP. Who are the other 3? We'll tell you in a little while. Here's Casey Blake. You say bench and you think of that big blue and big red machine and the Dodger Big Blue battling them back in the 70s. And you think of bench and you think of Morgan and George Foster and Davy Concepcion and Pete Rose. High foul, out of play. And talking about Pete Rose, the Reds have received permission to honor Rose, but they couldn't honor him on the date when he got the base hit to break the record because he was at a casino. Yeah, really. I swear. However, they said, all right, you do your thing, and then we'll honor you later. And that's the story. Pete will be honored in Cincinnati. 0-2. Ground foul. He is committed to the Hollywood Casino in Lawrenceburg. They wanted to do it on Saturday, September the 11th. That's going to be a fly ball to right center, pretty deep. However, Stubbs is right there. That'll be that. So anyway, they are going to honor Rose on Sunday, September 12th. And with that vital information, it's 3-1 Reds. Fifth inning with the Reds leading the Dodgers 3-1, and the Reds will have Joey Votto, Scott Rowland, and Jay Bruce. Votto has 28 home runs, 24 of them against right-hand pitching. He's number 1 in the league in that area. Joey is struck out and flied to left. Tries to uppercut that big curveball. No balls and 1 strike. Votto might strike out, but he's not called out very often. And that swing on the first pitch, he's second highest in the league doing that. 0-2. Three runs, 7 hits for the Reds, and yet the 2 runs they have to lead, all because of Monastery's error. So he's made a lot of pitches, he's given up a lot of hits, but he could have allowed only 1 run instead of the 3. Whoa, ball 1. 1-0 to Joey Votto. Anasterios with a 3-3 record, no mark against the Reds, win or lose. Final score: Milwaukee defeated the Padres 10-6. Fastball, strike. And so Votto doesn't say anything, but he's talking and his head moving as he does over his shoulder. Umpires will take that a lot more, because unless you're really watching, he's not going to show up. The pitch certainly looked high and away. Doug Eddings said it got it. And Votto jawing, but quietly. So he goes 0 for 3, 1 away. And a ball going down the line, foul, out of play. For Monasterios, thanks to a somewhat generous call, he now has 6 strikeouts. 0-1. And that's popped up. It will be Loney. Right at the bag. Whoops, stumbled on the bag. So if you weren't watching, you think he just dropped the ball, but he stumbled over the bag. And that's just another problem when you're playing in the big leagues. Of course, it's a problem anywhere. Watch this. Everything fine, and then whoops. Still, even though he stumbled, it looked like he had plenty of time to recover, and the ball just went off his glove. He'll draw the error. It was a foul ball, so Rowland is still at the plate. 0-2 the count. And a line drive base hit, and Loney throws his hands up in the air as if say, wouldn't you know. For Loney, by the way, that would only be his 3rd error all year. And Rowland singles to left, and that'll be Jay Bruce. So Monasterios made a huge error in the 4th inning, and it led to 2 runs. Now Loney makes an error, and it leads to a base hit. In that Brewers victory over the Padres 10-6, the Padres led 5-2 in the 2nd inning. And the Brewers came back to beat them 10-6. Ball 1 to Bruce, who has struck out twice. So the Giants are 5 back of San Diego. Meanwhile, Ronald Belisario gets up in the Dodger bullpen. 1 ball and no strikes. In the dirt, gets away from Ausmus, down to second base, in near safely goes Rollins. And of course that shakes up the crowd a little bit. The drop foul ball by Loney after he tripped over the bag. Ausmus was a little slow in reacting, and Rowland wasn't slow in reacting. It'll be a wild pitch. So a runner at second with 1 out, and Jay Bruce trying to pick him up. 3-1 Red, trying to snap their 12-game losing streak at Dodger Stadium, and trying to add to a 6-game winning streak. Bruce struck out in the first, struck out in the third. (2-0). Jay batting .265, 13 home runs, 49 runs batted in, fouled away. Bruce swinging. He's first in the National League to swing on a 2-0 count. And Monasterios now, pitches are starting to pile up. He had 2 easy innings in the third when he had 8. 2-1. Ball 3. Monasterios, by the way, could very well be pitching his last inning. He is due to bat third when the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 5th inning. 3-1, trying to pick up Roland from second base. And ball 4. So the error on the foul ball, followed by a base hit and a wild pitch, followed by a walk, followed by Ryan Hannigan coming up. And Ausmus going out to talk to Monasterio. Hannigan, the catcher, is 2 for 2. Rick Honeycutt on the phone. How's Belisario going? Is he ready to come in? And Rick said, yeah. So let's see. Yep. That should be all for Monasterios. Once Rick Honeycutt said to Joe, yeah, that was the answer to Belisario being ready. And you can see Carlos saying, oh, no. So his own error set up 2 runs. Should have been a scoreless inning. The error by Loney has gotten him into a jam, followed by the base hit. And now young Carlos is going to have to come out. And we'll be back. Monasterios, and in looking back at Monasterios, he made a lot of pitches. He also made some very good pitches, and in the first inning with 2 on, he struck out Votto, then he got Roland, and he got Bruce. Came right back in the second inning to get Stubbs. He had Bruce again in the third inning, and one more time he got Votto. However, 6 strikeouts would be impressive, except for the fact his own error was huge to give the Reds 2, and now the error by Loney puts him in a jam, and he has to come out. So Monasterios gives the ball to Ronald Belisario, another Venezuelan, and Belisario will be facing Hannigan and perhaps Stubbs. Hannigan is 2 for 2, single to right, single to left, and scored twice. 2 on, 1 out. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Reds. 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Nice save on a fastball that could have gone to the backstop. Ball 1. 1-0. Hannigan, as we mentioned, was really doing well. Broke his thumb. Had a lot of trouble after that coming back. But tonight, 2 for 2. 2 on, Rolen and Bruce taking their leads. And ball 2. For Belisario, who's been in 38 games. He has struck out 27, walked 14, so not quite 2-1. Belisario, 6'2" and about 240. Two and 0 in there. 2-1. Game 1 of a 3-game series. It'll be the Reds here tomorrow night and again Sunday afternoon. Johnny Cueto and Chad Billingsley tomorrow night. That's a strike. And then Sunday afternoon, Branson Arroyo and Clayton Kershaw. After Sunday's game, the Dodgers will hit the road to go to Milwaukee and Colorado, and then they'll be home. They play Philadelphia and the Giants. Giants won tonight, beat the Cardinals. Padres lost. 2-2. Little Nubber back to the box. He's going to go to second accurately and gets the out. Nice play by Belisario. Over to third goes Rolen. Bruce is retired at second, and the batter will be Drew Stubbs. Good throw. Set and fires just in time. And you can see a good slide by Bruce to make sure Jamie Carroll couldn't do anything else. Watch Bruce hook his legs right in there. Legitimate. Good play. So Bruce does his job. The inning is still alive. It's first and third with 2 out. And here's Drew Stubbs. Ball 1. Stubbs, the center fielder, struck out and then bunted. And that's when Montesarios picked it up, had a routine throw to first, and pulled Loney way off the bag. And that set the stage for 2 runs. Now back. 1-1. So the Reds, 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors. The Dodgers, 1 run, 2 hits, 2 errors. A somewhat downcast Montesarios with his half a dozen strikeouts, thinking to himself, it could have been so much better. 1-1. Ball 2. First and third, 2 out. The butter and egg man, the man who has delivered tonight, is Brandon Phillips. He is 2 for 2 with 2 out, picking up runs. The other Reds are 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. So Brandon has really done the job. 2-1 to count to Stubbs. Foul back. 2-2. So the Deuces, they are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, and the Reds lead by 2. Paul Yanish, the shortstop, on deck. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 5th inning, Carroll, Ausmus, and then Belisario. 2-2. A look, no throw. Belisario has 3 wild pitches, so Rolen is at the ready. Fouled away. Rolen coming down the line a little bit. Now Scotty going back. Scott kind of looking over at his third base coach. 2-2 the count to Drew Stubbs. Well, have you seen Terrio bunt and he got Carroll home? That surprised everybody. 2-2. He holds up, or did he? He did not. Strike 3. So 7 Reds have struck out tonight. Monasterios calls it a night, and the Reds lead the Dodgers 3-1. Fellow countryman Carlos Monasterios, and we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Jamie Carroll, Brad Ausmus, and then we'll see. Change. Ball 1. Homer Bailey has allowed a run on 2 hits. The 2 hits occurred in the 3rd inning. Carroll walked and came home on the bunt by Terrio. That's a strike. David Bailey Jr., known to the world as Homer. Ball 2, snapping off that 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Nice, easy delivery. 2-1. That's a strike. Bailey has hit 93 and 94. 2-2 the count. Fastball. Well, that's what he's getting, heat. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the hunter from Texas. We mentioned 7 of the 25 on the roster for Cincinnati are from the state of Texas. Two and 2 to Jamie. Ball 3. At the start of the inning, with Ausmus waiting on deck, Bailey had made 57 pitches through 4 innings. Even a big sigh. And that's hit in the air to right field. Moving over in a hurry and foul ground and unable to make the play. Jay Bruce. So Carroll will come back and try it again. Not close. Well, we've seen a couple of bad moments over there in right field. Out right fielders banging up their knees. The concrete just underneath the padding. 3-2. And a high fly ball to left field, but it looks playable. And Nix is there. So for Carroll, it looks like a home run, but Nix. So one down, and Brad Osmus. Osmus singled in the third inning, and that set up the Dodger run. 1987 draft. So here we're saluting the 90s, and Brad was playing hard in the 90s. That's right. Jay Gibbons, left-hand hitter, comes out on deck. Osmus was playing in the big leagues in 1993. 1-1. He celebrated his 41st birthday the middle of April. From Connecticut, went to Dartmouth College. 2-1 to Brad. Brad's father is a retired professor of European history, author of a book with a very impressive title. Pop foul off first. Might have a play, not quite. Still 2-2. The title of the book, written by his father, A Schopenhauerian Critique of Nietzsche's Thought. Hello? Brad says it's his favorite book. Well, it's written by his dad. What's your favorite book? Oh, it's Schopenhauerian Critique of Nietzsche's Thought. Schopenhauer and whatever goes with it. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. And with a thought of Nietzsche, he singles to right field. You could read Jay Bruce's mind. Bruce was going to charge that base hit and throw to first. But Osmus has been around a long time, and he was racing down the line, but Jay was thinking. Remember the trivia question? Had to do, well, starts off with Johnny Bench. One of 4 catchers ever named National League MVP. Who are the other 3? Certainly one of them, you know, Roy Campanella. Then you have Gabby Hartnett, Ernie Lombardi. Ernie Lombardi, well, Hartnett and Lombardi. Hartnett was most famous for a home run he hit in Pittsburgh at the end of the season to give the Cubs a pennant. It was called the home run in the gloaming. Ernie Lombardi had the nickname Snooze. It was unfair nickname. He was a very good player and a wonderful hitter. But in a World Series against the Yankees, Lombardi was in a collision with Charlie Keller of the Yankees. And Keller was really built. They had a huge collision, and Lombardi was stunned and on the ground, and a couple of runs scored, and they referred to it as a snooze. Well, it wasn't a snooze. A couple of great names out of the history books. Gabby Hartnett, Ernie Lombardi, and, of course, Campy. So Gibbons trying to get something going, batting for Belisario with a runner at first, 1 out, 5th inning, 3-1 Reds. Little foul off third, out of play. The other thing, one other last thing about Ernie Lombardi. Right-hand hitter, stood at the plate most of the time with the bat resting on his shoulder and his head kind of down a little bit. And that's another thing they would talk about, a snooze. But he could hit. Meanwhile, Osmus with 2 hits at first base, 1 out, 3-1 Reds. Another foul. Three runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Reds. 1 run, 3 hits, 2 errors for the Dodgers. And here we are in the 5th inning. Gibbons in the starting lineup the other night against Jason Hamill of the Rockies, and he was 1 for 3. Foul back. That game was a thoroughly forgettable game. That was the game of the wild pitches. Hamill made 2 in the 1st inning, and Dotel made 3 in the 10th. 1-2 the count to Jay Gibbons. Two and two. Reds scored a run in the 2nd. The Dodgers tied it in the bottom of the 3rd. The Reds came back in the 4th with 2, and that's it. 3-1 Cincinnati with 1 out. Ausmus at first in the 5th inning. 2-2. And another foul ball off third. So Gibbons still hacking away, trying to extend the inning. Crowd trying to generate something. Jay, who lives in Simi Valley, originally a pick by the Blue Jays out of Cal State, Los Angeles. Soccer player as a kid. And another foul ball. So if nothing else, he's making Homer Bailey work as he continues to chip them foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So far, Gibbons has had 9 pitches, and 6 of them he has fouled off. And the duel continues. Another foul ball. 10 pitches, 7 fouls. A little surprised that Joey Votto is on the bag holding Ausmus. Ausmus not involved in a stolen base, and at 41 you don't expect him to run. He had 1 stolen base last year, and with a left-hand hitter up, Votto is still on the bag. 2-2. Ball 3. So it's now an 11 pitch at bat for Jay Gibbons. Scott Posetnik on deck. Give you an idea of the 11 pitches. He retired the side in order in the 2nd inning on 11 pitches. And it's high, and Gibbons wins the battle. A 12 pitch at bat and a walk. So the Dodgers now have the tying runs aboard with 1 out. Scott Posetnik coming up. Meanwhile, Brian Price going out to the mound, the pitching coach for the Reds, to try and get Bailey back on beam. Bailey started the night, retired 6 in a row. Then he walked 1, and it cost him a run. Now he has walked his 2nd man. And with 2 on and 1 out, Scott Posetnik will be coming up. Posetnik flied to left, and then in the 3rd inning, with 2 on and 2 out, he hit a rocket, and it was right at Paul Yanish, the Cincinnati shortstop. For Bailey, he's had to labor in this 5th inning. A 12 pitch at bat by Jay Gibbons certainly helps the Dodgers a little bit, because Homer is now getting ready to make his 26th pitch of the inning, and there's one out. 3-1 Reds. Dodgers trying to come back. Ball one. I'm sure they are really watching the pitch count of Homer Bailey, since he spent a long time on the DL, inflammation of the shoulder. 1 ball, no strikes. And a nice breaking ball in there, 1-1. Bailey with his pitch count up to 84. He has made 10 starts. So you figure he would make 25. So he's off by about 15 on the DL. Fastball for ball 2. Dusty working on the toothpick. Jimmy Wynn, who played for the Dodgers, he used to play center field chewing on a toothpick. Giants had a pitcher who came from the Cubs named Sad Sam Jones. Jones pitched with a toothpick in his mouth. Not to be done. If your kids are watching the game, that's not the way to go. You want to chew something, try a little sugarless gum. And popped up, shallow center. Coming in for it is Drew Stubbs. That's the second out. So the Dodgers now have Ryan Theriot, who is the big RBI man. Theriot dropped a surprise bunt with 2 out in the 3rd inning to score Jamie Carroll. It was not a squeeze. He just surprised everybody with a great bunt. And Carroll alertly came in to tie up the game in the 3rd inning. Theriot with Andre Ethier on deck. Ryan hitting .287. Slices one back at first. Votto in foul ground makes the catch, and that's the Dodger rally. No runs. They hit a walk and 2 left. And at the end of 5, 3-1 Reds. Reds getting to the World Series only to lose to Oakland. And one of the memorable games turned in by Davey Lopes, known for stealing bases. In a game in Wrigley Field, Chicago, Davey had 3 home runs, a double and a single, 15 total bases. The Dodgers nipped the Cubs that day 18-8. Let's go back to this one. Kenley Jansen comes out of the Dodger bullpen. The kid from Curacao getting ready to pitch to the Reds. Cincinnati We'll have Giannis, then Bailey and Phillips, and Kenley ready to go to work. He has done well, considering the fact 1 year ago he was a catcher. Earned run average of 1.1. His strikeout to walk ratio 3-1. And of course, that's a big question. They know he can throw hard. Will he throw strikes? So here's Giannis. And ball one. Popped up, grounded out, 0 for 2. Fouled away. Jansen, a big fella, about 6'5", 230. He's only 22. He'll be 23 the end of September. Strike on the inside corner, 1-2. For Kenley Jansen, his birthday will be the day before the final weekend of the year here when the Dodgers play Arizona. So 2-2 to Kenley. He was the catcher in March of last year for Netherlands in the World Baseball Classic. High fly ball, room service. It's coming to Ethier. One out in the 6th inning. And Bailey coming up. Here's a look at Kenley Jansen when he was a catcher. Nice backhand save of that would have been wild pitch. And a good block on the tag at the plate. Also a good arm to nail a runner at third. Yes, sir, you're the man. Now he's on the mound. Rather remarkable. I mean, there have been a lot of players who have converted and become pitchers. But to go from catcher to a pitcher in the big leagues in 1 year is startling. 0-2. Fastball, that'll do it. Though it didn't take him long to take care of Bailey. 2 out in the 6th inning. And the batter is Brandon Phillips. Now Phillips has been dynamite. He is 3 for 3. He has knocked in all 3 runs, hitting .286, 14 home runs, 48 runs batted in. Among other things about Brandon Phillips, he's rarely called out on strikes. He doesn't usually get deep in the count at all. Right. Brandon runs exceptionally well. He'll score from second on a base hit easily. He'll score from first on a double. So he brings a lot to the dance. 1 ball and 1 strike to Brandon Phillips. Phillips back in 2008 signed a 4-year deal with Cincinnati. And this time ground ball to Carroll. Jamie will take care of him. And Kenley Jansen, a nice 1-2-3 inning. So the Reds go quietly, and at the end of 5.5, Reds 3, Dodgers 1. the game 2 runs. The difference in the game 1 play. This one by Monasterios that pulled Loney off the bag on what should have been a very routine throw. And that led to 2 runs. The runs that would not have scored had Carlos made the play. And of course, for Monasterios and the Dodgers, they're trying to recover from that play as they come up in the bottom of the 6th inning. Ethier, Loney, and Kemp trying to get the job done here against Homer Bailey. Ethier lined out to right and struck out. Oh, and 1. Andre's average now has dipped under 300. He's at 298. Oh, and 2. So Bailey trying to get out in front on the leadoff hitter here in the 6th inning. After a very tough 5th inning where he made 12 pitches to Jay Gibbons. 0 and 2. Since Bailey is starting to make a lot of pitches, he had a 30-pitch inning in the 5th inning. So they're backing him up. Logan Andrusek is throwing in the bullpen, and Ethier strikes out a 2nd time. For Bailey, 4 strikeouts, and that brings up James Loney. Dodgers 1 run on 3 hits. There was a walk to Carroll and a single by Ausmus. And with 2 out, Ryan Theriot surprised everybody with a bunt single. Carroll was able to score. Would not have scored had Bailey thrown the ball to his catcher. However, Bailey opted to go to first, and it was too late. Theriot beat it out, and the Dodgers got the run. But when the little guys, the Carrolls and the Terrios, have to get the run for you, you are struggling. And Ethier certainly can give you chapter and verse along with Loney and Kemp. 1 and 1 to count. Loney grounded out, struck out, tripped over first base, still had his glove up in the air, and was unable to make the catch on the foul ball. And then that led to a single, but the Reds did not score that time. There's a hopper hard to shortstop. Giannis stays with it. So Loney hit that thing really hard, but 2 down here in the 6th. That's the way it looks. A lot of offers. So here's Matt, lined out to center, grounded to third, 0 for 2. That first ball he hit to center, right on the button. Ball 1. Now Bailey misses on a first pitch strike attempt to Matt Kemp. He's had 18 of 22 first pitch strikes. One and 1. And for Bailey, nice and easy, and he hits 94 on the gun. Boy, he's a wonderful looking young pitcher. Reds have a chance to go 4.5 games up on the Cardinals. Now you see 95 pitches. Ball 2. Looking at Bailey's games, the Reds do not give you a pitch count. But again, remember, he's coming off the DL from inflammation in the right shoulder. Whoa, what a nice, easy way to get a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Homer Bailey is 6'4", 205 pounds. 24 years old. And another one. Same pitch, same velocity, same result, an out. So the Dodgers go 1, 2, 3, and at the end of 6, David Bailey Jr. walks off leading 3-1. Strong performance by Homer Bailey, and ball 1 to Jason Nix, Lance Nix. Bailey, we were talking about his pitch count. He's made 98 pitches so far. His season high and his career high, 121. 2-0 the count to Nix. Lance single to right, fly to center, grounded to first. Three runs, 8 hits for the Reds. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. And ball 3. So Jansen came in and pitched the 6th, retired the side in order, struck out Bailey. And ball 4. Monasterios walked 1. Belisario did not walk anybody. And now Jansen walked 1. Here's Votto, struck out, flied out, and called out. Didn't like the call, but had to take it anyway. 0-1 to Joey. Votto hitting .320, 28 home runs, 81 runs batted in. One ball and 1 strike. Votto has had about almost 500 plate appearances, and he has struck out 95 times. That's pretty good for a guy with 28 home runs. 1-1. Lance Nix over there at first base does not have a stolen base. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's 3-1 Reds, 7th inning. 1-2 the count. Votto taking somewhat of a savage swing, almost hurt himself. As the players say, he certainly didn't get cheated. And he slaps a hopper to third, down to second. Terrio turns it, and we get the double play. So the double play, 5-4-3. And with 2 down, as Terrio did a very good job with a left-hand hitter up. First of all, Casey Blake has to make an accurate throw to a second baseman on the move. And then Terrio had to get there, hit the bag, turn, and double up a left-hand hitter. Pretty good job. A strike to Scott Rowland. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 7th, they have Blake, Carroll, and Ausmus. 0-1. 1-1. It's been Monasterios, Belisario, and Jansen. In there. 1-2. The kid from Curacao. First one to make a big splash, Andrew Jones, in the World Series years ago, playing for the Braves. He was 19 against the Yankees. Off speed, little slider, not much of a break to it. 2-2. Fastball, pop foul, no play. And when in doubt, he comes back with a fastball at 93, and he now runs it all the way. 3-2 with Scott Rowland, and Jay Bruce, left-hand batter, on deck. Three and two. Jansen took about a couple of miles off in velocity. That was a fastball in the high 80s. 3-2 to Scott Rowland. Foul back. Fastball alley. When the foul balls come straight back to the second deck, you know it's a fastball, and that was 93 miles an hour. He has one strikeout tonight to give him 13. And just missed inside. So Rowland draws the walk. The second pass given up by Jansen. And with two out, the batter will be Jay Bruce. Bruce struck out in the first inning, struck out in the third inning, and then walked in the fifth. Jay hitting .265. 13 home runs, 49 runs batted in. Among other things with Jay Bruce hitting .265, he is number one in the National League in swinging on a 2-0 count. Runs very well. Just outside, ball one. So Jansen, with two out, thanks to the double play hit in 2 by Joey Votto. He's also walked 2 in the inning. And to repeat, the Dodgers have Casey Blake, Jamie Carroll, and Brad Osmus. And we'll see if they go to the bench with Sherrill throwing in the pen. Fouled away. One ball and one strike. One and two to count. Jay Bruce has already struck out twice. This year, he has struck out 113 times. Still 1 and 2. Kenley Jansen trying to give the Dodgers a good bit of relief work, and he's doing just that against young Jay Bruce. Bruce is only 23. One and two. And popped up left side. Casey Blake, a lot of room. And that's that. No runs, no hits, a man left. And at the end of 6.5, it remains 3-1 Cincinnati. Here comes Homer, and the crowd will stay for God Bless and Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join in the singing of God Bless America. Once again, please welcome Kimberly Lott.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home
who's been brilliant. 3 hits, one of them a bunt single to drive in the only Dodger run. And his second start since coming off the DL. He had inflammation of the shoulder, and he's ball 1 to Casey Blake. Now, we mentioned that his career high and season high 121 pitches. He made 102 in his last start. Ground ball fair inside third down the line. And so Casey is on his way for 2, and Nix will get it back to the infield. So the pitch count, I would assume, is very important now for Homer Bailey. So now Carroll and Ausmus trying to pick him up. Carroll a quick look at Larry Boa, and you can see the pitch count now exactly 100. So you know they're not going to push him too far. He means too much. They also know, I'm sure, that the Cardinals have lost. Arthur Rhodes and Logan Ondrusek down in the bullpen. 1 ball and no strikes to Jamie Carroll. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Reds, 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. In there. Carroll walked, scored the Dodger run, flied to left. Meanwhile, Hannigan out to talk to Bailey. Brad Ausmus waiting on deck. Then you would have the pitcher spot occupied by Jansen. So for Dusty, moving around in the dugout a little bit, showing a little sign of concern. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball 2, 2-1. Dusty's been sitting on a chair throughout the game in the Reds dugout. Foul ball, 2-2. David Bailey Jr., known to the world as Homer, out of LaGrange, Texas, and wearing the number in honor of Nolan Ryan. 2-2. Little nubber. Brandon Phillips makes the play. Casey Blake moves over to third, and with 1 out, Brad Ausmus coming up. So if nothing else, Carroll moves a man along. Down in the Dodger bullpen here in the 7th inning, Broxton and Dotel begin to warm up. No one in the on-deck circle for the Dodgers, so we'll have to wait and see or look down into the dugout. 0-1. Ausmus single to center, single to right. Ronnie Belliard puts a helmet on and walks to the near corner. And here he comes up the steps. 1-1. Casey Blake coming down the line a little bit on each of those 2 pitches to Ausmus, trying to distract Bailey a little bit. Right-hand hitter up there, so Scott Rowland is pretty deep anyway. Ball 2. Ausmus batting .214. Blake who doubled, now at third with 1 out. It's 3-1 Reds. Bottom of the 7th. Boy, a good fastball in on the hands at 95. So he still can bring it. That's for sure. One out. Blake at third. Got him. Osmer saying the pitch is low and outside. Now getting a warning from Doug Innings. Doug holding up one finger on the right hand. Take a look. And he is shocked as well as angry when he finds out it's strike three. And remember how Votto was when he was called out. So with two out and Casey Blake at third and an upset Brad Ausmus, the batter is Ronnie Belliard coming off the bench trying to get the run home. And a strike. Belliard has a half a dozen pinch hits and 3 runs batted in. Oh and 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. That was a big pitch for strike 3 to Ausmus. Hit foul into the lower deck. 1-2 the count. Gibbons appeared as a pinch hitter in the 5th inning. He had a 12 pitch at bat and walked. Belliard up there and the count 1-2. For Bailey, this would be his 114th pitch. 1-2. And it's enough to end the inning. So the Dodgers leave Casey Blake at third after a leadoff double. And at the end of 7, it's 3-1 Reds. He has enough to strike out a half a dozen through 7, and he doesn't have any look of somebody who's going to depart the premises. Usually he puts a light windbreaker on and goes back into the clubhouse for a little while. But as of right now, he's just going to walk off the adrenaline rush. Meanwhile, the Dodgers come in with Octavio Dotel. So it's been Monasterios, Belisario, Jansen, and Dotel. Dotel from the Dominican Republic, 35 years old in November. Originally signed by the Mets. Came up to the Mets in '99, but then had a good stretch with the Astros. Then the A's and the Yankees, the Royals, the Braves, the White Sox, the Pirates, and here he is. Start slider with a strike. Ryan Hannigan, 2 singles and hit into a force play. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Reds. 1 run, 4 hits, and 2 errors for the Dodgers in the 8th inning. 0-1. 0-2. Dotel, an even 6, 210-pounder. In there. 1-2. Dotel was a very good pal of the late Jose Lima. In fact, when he came to Houston, it was Lima who took him under his arm, or as the expression goes, under his wing. 1-2 the count. Missed with the fastball, and the count goes 2-2. And that's going to go foul down the line. Dotel, primarily a fastball pitcher. He has a curve and a changeup. His change, which they call a circle change, where the thumb and the index finger touch on the side of the ball. 2-2. So Hannigan making Dotel work a little bit, leading off matters here in the 8th inning. Ryan Hannigan batting .292. Ball 3. And a drive to left down the line, hooking as she goes foul. Hannigan knew it. He never bothered even leaving home plate. Still 3-2. Ryan has 3 home runs, 29 runs batted in. And another foul ball. So he's taken a page out of Jay Gibbons' book. Jay had a 12-pitch at bat, and he's now had a 10-pitch at bat. 3-2. Well, now it's an 11-pitch at bat. Ryan Hannigan, 30 years old. And a fly ball to center. Back goes Kemp. Plenty of room. One away. And the batter now will be Drew Stubbs. Stubbs struck out twice, bunted, and that's the big play of the game. Monasterio's picked up the bunt. Easy play. He'd make it 99 out of 100. But this was that one where he pulled Loney off the bag. And instead of getting out of the inning easily, Bailey would have made the third out. The error extended so that Brandon Phillips could come up. And Phillips got a base hit to drive in 2, and that's the difference in the game. Off speed, little slider for a strike. Stubbs 0 for 3. Paid attendance tonight 46,418. Fastball strike 0-2. 46-4-1-8. A reminder, this is game 1 of the 3-game series. Chad Billingsley and Johnny Cueto tomorrow night. Clayton Kershaw, Ransom Arroyo Sunday afternoon. That will do it for Stubbs. He strikes out 3 times tonight. And the batter will be Giannis. Say, you're going to travel this season? You can take the Dodgers with you. Subscribe to MLB.TV today. See every Dodger game live or on demand on your computer. Visit Dodgers.com to order and get more details. So 2 out. Here's Paul Giannis. Popped up, grounded out, fly to right. First ball hitting, long throw for Jamie Carroll. Got him. Nice play by Jamie to make that play. Wow. It's one thing from a Tulowitzki to do it, but it was an excellent play by Jamie Carroll. Still 3-1 Reds. Out is Reed Johnson. Last night, Reed Johnson got the only 2 runs in a hurry by hitting his first home run this year and his first home run since last year in June over in the American League. Getting applause from teammate Andre Ethier and everybody else, and leading the Dodgers to a 2-0 victory. However, Reed Johnson is a spectator tonight, and the only Dodger run is a far cry from a home run. It was a bunt single by Ryan Theriot to score Jamie Carroll. And now a 40-year-old All-Star, Arthur Rhodes, coming in. Rhodes will be 41 at the end of October. And starts a strike to Scott Pusednik. Arthur Rhodes is 6'2" and 215. Another Texan. He's from Waco, Texas. Went to La Vega High School in Waco and was originally signed in 1988. popped up, back at third. Scott rolling and foul line. And that'll do it for Plesedny. One away in the 8th. Arthur Rhodes started pitching in '88. Came up to the Orioles in '91. He was with the Orioles with some trips to Rochester from '91 through '99, 10 seasons. Then he had 4 years with the Mariners, then the A's, the Indians, and the Phillies, back to the Mariners, the Marlins, and the Reds. His brother was a one-time pitcher in the Yankees and Mariner organization. In the offseason, he said, we used to pitch to each other. The Colossus of Rhodes by the name of Arthur. 0-1. 1-1. Ryan Theriot grounded out. Surprised everybody, including the Reds, with a bunt single that scored Jamie Carroll for the only Dodger run. Then last time up, he fouled out. A tremendous game for Homer Bailey. Went 7, allowed 1 run and 4 hits, made 114 pitches, and for a guy just coming off the DL, he just looked great. That easy, fluid delivery. Ball came flying out of his hand. So now the extreme, from the kid to the veteran, Arthur Rhodes. Fastball hit in the air to right field, but right there is Bruce. So 2 down in the 8th inning. The Dodgers tonight had 2 on and 1 out in the 5th inning and failed to score. They had a leadoff double by Casey Blake in the 7th inning and failed to score. And those have been their shots. Andre Ethier lined out to right, struck out in the 3rd, struck out in the 6th. Average down now to 297. Right. Arthur Rhodes with a brilliant earned run average, 1.3. Oh, and 2. His strikeout to walk ratio, not quite 3-1, but he's working on it. 0-2 the count. Interesting, in August of 1991, he was called up by the Orioles. He was the youngest player on the team. Ethier, meanwhile, a high fly ball to left field. It's coming to the glove of Lance Nix. And so Arthur Rhodes just comes in. All roads lead to Arthur. And at the end of 8, Reds 3, Dodgers 1. One in a pitcher's battle. A Hyundai key to the game would be a ground ball base hit by Scott Rowland. Then the bunt, and this is the big play, the bad throw by Monasterios, and that set it up for Brandon Phillips to single up the middle, drive in two, and that's the difference in the game. 3-1 Reds, ninth inning, and Jim Edmonds will now bat for Arthur Rhodes, and a strike. Edmonds hitting .275, 9 home runs, 21 runs batted in. Veteran picked up to give them an extra left-handed bat. 0-2 the count. So Arthur Rhodes pitched 1 inning, and now Edmonds bats for him. Jim was on the DL earlier this year, hurt himself on a check swing, and down he goes on 3. In the Reds bullpen, Francisco Cordero begins to warm up. Interesting, the Reds' last hit was a single in the 5th inning, but they're leading 3-1. Dodgers again wasting some fine pitching tonight. Here's the man, Brandon Phillips, 3 for 4, knocked in all 3 runs, knocked in the 2 go-ahead runs, and ball 1. Brandon Phillips 1 for 2 in a few at-bats against Dotel. Look out. 2-0. Two balls, no strikes. 2-1. We mentioned way back in the beginning, the Reds are a very aggressive hitter, and they hit 2-0 more than just about anybody. As a manager who was a fine outfielder and an excellent hitter in his own right, Dusty really lets them go get it. 2-1. 2-2 to Brandon Phillips. 1 away. We're in the 9th inning. 3-1 Reds. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 9th, James Loney, Matt Kemp, and Casey Blake. Boy, Phillips just did get a little bit of that. That looked like it was past him. He just caught the A train right there. Couldn't get the perspective, but it looked like it was just about by him. 2-2. Oh, hard slider puts him away. So Phillips, who I think is still a little upset over that second pitch, and watch this thing run away out there. And down he goes. So Phillips had 3 for 3, then grounds out, strikes out, and the batter will be Lance Nix. Nix singled, fly to center, grounded out, and walked, hitting .289. One ball and no strikes. One and one. It's been Monasterios, Belisario, Jansen, and Dotel. The Reds have used Bailey and Rhodes, and they will soon use Francisco Cordero. One and two. Remember, the Reds came here having lost 12 straight at Dodger Stadium. They had not won a game here since July of 2005. But Dusty says 12 is his number, his lucky number, and it'll stop at 12. Well, he's leading 3-1 in the ninth. One and two to Lance Nix. Tomorrow night, Johnny Cueto. And a little flare. It'll be a hopper, and the play by Carroll in time to get him. So 46,118 have been out to watch the Dodgers trail 3-1 in the bottom of the ninth. We've come to the end of the line for the Dodgers. Bottom of the ninth. Reds lead 3-1. Loney, Kemp, and Blake against Francisco Cordero. Out of the Dominican, Francisco signed as a free agent by the Tigers in 1994. 33 years old, 6'2", 235. Came up to the Tigers in 1999. And a strike. Cordero was a starting pitcher sent to the bullpen by Detroit. Wasn't very happy about it, but then he settled in and he's had a fine career. 0-1 in the dirt. Cordero with 32 saves. Colorado Rockies had one getaway in Arizona tonight. D-backs got two in the ninth inning to tie, and a 10th inning walk-off double from Kelly Johnson. And Arizona beat the Rockies 4-3. Giants beat the Cardinals, so the Reds have a chance to go 4.5 up on St. Louis. The Padres lost, so the Giants can pick up a game and trail San Diego by 5. Padres had won 9 of the last 10. 2-2 the count to James Loney. Cordero third in the league in saves behind Heath Bell and Brian Wilson. 6 times in his career he's had 30 saves. And they're going to call it a swing, I believe. Loney walks away on strike 3, 1 out in the ninth. So Cordero records a strikeout. 7 Dodgers have struck out. Cordero now working on Matt Kemp, who is 0 for 3. And a strike. With Cordero and his 32 saves, for a relief pitcher, he's really had been fighting his control. I mean, 35 walks, 49 strikeouts. He must be fighting it. That's strike 2 on Matt Kemp. On deck, Casey Blake. And that's going to be flared over Votto's head down the line. Matt will go and stop at first. Good backup by Jay Bruce to run it back to the infield. So Matt Kemp, a flare to right for a base hit. He'll take anything off the end of the bat. And it just got over Votto's head and stayed inside the line. So a 1-out single will bring up Blake as hope burns eternal here at Dodger Stadium. Casey has struck out, flied to center, doubled in the 7th inning leading off, and the Dodgers left him at third. Casey hitting .247, 12 home runs, 48 runs batted in. Fastball for a strike. Just to try and answer your questions, you're probably thinking about it. Cordero has allowed 5 home runs. Blake is 1 for 9 against Cordero in the past. 1 ball and 1 strike to count it, Casey. Cordero has 282 saves. He's converted 32 of 38 opportunities. 8 straight. Ground ball to short. They get 1. They will get 2. And it has snapped. The 12-game losing streak at Dodger Stadium is over for the Reds as they beat the Dodgers 3-1. 3 runs, 8 hits for Cincinnati. 1 run, 5 hits, and 2 errors for the Dodgers. Tomorrow night we'll be on KCAL 9. Hope you'll join us then. Right now, stay tuned for Dodgers Live coming up next. Good night, everybody.